Alright guys, I'm on my second take here again on this video. I kind of messed up the first one. This one's going to be about Bitcoin lending on Poloniex. This is the only other method I use to generate income through cryptocurrencies right now. I'm looking for better ways, but personally I just find there's too much risk in margin trading. And as you can see, ETH is down right now, pretty significantly compared to, let's just go look at a week ago. I mean, you can see a pretty significant drop here. This is the type of stuff I tried to, I'm still into mining. I think that you can get good returns over the long term, but I tend to just be a person who can get kind of spooked pretty easy. And I don't want to be in a position where I'm, really having to worry about selling my entire, collection of shares. I'm much more of a buy and hold, investment type of person. So mining Ethereum kind of allows me to just, let it ride out. I'm kind of forced to just sit it out long term so I don't get worried, because I think in the long term Ethereum is going to definitely go up in price. But the other thing I'm doing right now is actually under the lending tab on Poloniex. And what you can do is you can lend Bitcoin at a daily interest rate, and you can set the parameters anywhere from like 2 to 60 days. So typically right now the rates you're looking at are actually a little bit higher than the loans I have out, but it does fluctuate. So right now is pretty good, it's pretty high in terms of what loans are being offered. Sometimes it can go pretty low. Like over here you'll see the demands that aren't being met. These are people who want loans at these rates and they're not being filled because the rate they want is just too low. Nobody wants to lend it to them for that price. So sometimes it gets this low. I've seen it maybe a few times at 0.06 ish, but it's pretty rare. So typically I just kind of pick a price that's gonna stay consistently loaned out. You don't want to pick something like, see, it already went down to 0.10. So you don't want to pick something that's so high that people are going to constantly just close their loans out and pick one at a lower rate, because that is something they can do with this system. If they, let's say I loan it out at 0.15 and now the loans are down here, they will actually have an option to just pay back their loan with me really fast and then just take out another loan at a lower rate. So you want to keep it low enough to where people aren't constantly trying to switch out of the loan, which will maximize the amount of Bitcoin that you can earn on the interest. Now the nice thing here is you can pick between 2 or 60 days. Personally, my preference is 60 days because I don't have an immediate need for any of this Bitcoin right now. As I get closer to a time where I'm going to need it, I'll start shortening the duration of the loans. But the thing here is that, like I was saying, people can close their loans out before that term has actually completed. People who choose 2-day loans tend to be more vigilant about the interest rate that you're charging. And I've just noticed that if I have a duration set at 2 days, people are just much more likely to close the loan out and take one that's lower much more frequently than people who take 60-day loans. These people just kind of leave it. They let the interest roll in pretty frequently. It's really smooth. So that's just my personal preference to keep it at these rates. And you make very significant returns here. I'll just pull my calculator out here just so we can get an idea of the daily type of rates that I'm making right now. But let's just say that you have 1 Bitcoin, just for sake of ease. Then we're going to multiply it by the interest rate, which is our daily interest rate, which is going to be 0.1333. So I'll add an extra 3 there, percent interest rate. So obviously we're going to earn this much Bitcoin per day, per Bitcoin. Now we'll just multiply that by the price over here. And we're looking at a $421 price currently. So 421 points, what is that, 4799. And we're looking at about 56 cents per day per Bitcoin, which it doesn't seem like a lot right now, but when you factor in the actual risk associated with lending this Bitcoin and the risk of default, it's much safer than what you are going to experience on the exchange, especially with cryptocurrencies tanking. And the nice thing is that you still hold all of your Bitcoin, so you're still essentially invested in a commodity like Bitcoin, which has the potential to still rise, especially when they come to a decision on how they're going to deal with the blockchain, the size of the blocks. But you can still kind of make an interest on all of that Bitcoin while you're waiting. So let's just say, like, on my current amount of Bitcoin, we're looking at about like 21.12 Bitcoin that I lend out. I multiply that by our daily interest rate. I'll multiply that by we'll just call it like a flat rate, 425. and we're looking at, I make about $12 a day right now, just as it is, sitting just on this Bitcoin. Now, a conservative way to estimate this is, let's just go ahead and say I have my 21.12 Bitcoin, and we're going to go ahead and multiply that by our interest rate. Now we're going to check how much I can make in a year. So in terms of annual returns, so we're looking at that is our daily return. We'll just multiply that by 365, and you'll make 10.252704 Bitcoin annually, just off of 21.12. So you're looking at about, over 50% annual return, which, if you are familiar with stock trading or any traditional forms of investment, this type of return is frankly, is pretty unbelievable. The amount that you can make, especially if Bitcoin increases in price, not only are you benefiting from the appreciation in value on one Bitcoin, you're making a significant amount in interest off of these loans, and the daily rate is just, it's really good. So I would implore anybody who's investing in Bitcoin, who wants to maybe go out there and try and earn a little bit more without risking too much. Maybe you don't understand, like me, I don't understand that much about a lot of these altcoins, and the fluctuations are just kind of gross. Even just today especially, look, this guy is just at point zero. You got minus 13 on this guy, minus 6.45, minus 8. Comparing this to even the stock market, which can be considered a very volatile way of trading, this is just like, it makes your stomach churn to imagine if you were holding significant amounts of these currencies and you just watch it tumble overnight. The nice thing about Bitcoin is it's relatively stable at this point in its life cycle, that it makes more sense to just kind of hold Bitcoin, watch it hopefully appreciate in value while simultaneously earning pretty significant amounts on interest. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me in the comments. This is just my current situation, what I'm doing aside from mining Ethereum.